MongooseJake here with my Mongoose Ardor that I am nicknaming the Cheap Thrills build. Because, remember, I only paid $70 for this bike originally with a completely new, it was new out of the box, but it had been damaged with a damaged rear wheel, broken spokes, and what I found to be a heavily damaged rear derailleur. This Pro Rush derailleur, the actual mounting bolt here was bent, so that as I took it off, it was wobbling. But surprisingly, and I know people had commented to check the derailleur hanger, which I did. I had a Park Tool derailleur alignment and adjustment tool, and I actually was given that tool. I didn't pay for it. So kind of a niche tool, but it was neat to use it for once. You can actually, you put it in, if you're not aware of the Park Tool derailleur hanger alignment and adjustment tool, you actually screw it in to the derailleur mounting point, and then you check all the way around to see if your derailleur hanger is out of alignment. You know, and you can gently bend it, but of course that makes it much weaker if you do. Generally, it's meant to check, is the derailleur hanger the problem? And if so, let's replace it. Mine was not. The issue was specifically this derailleur took an impact and the bolt bent before the hanger did. I don't know what that says about that bolt, but the derailleur hanger was tougher than the bolt. But there's been a number of changes made to this bike since you've seen it last, where I basically just did a video saying I finally snagged an Ardor for cheap. Well, I've made changes and I've been riding it, and this thing is pretty much just a hoot to ride. This is one of those bikes that you kind of had to laugh at anybody that says cheap bikes can't be enjoyable, because of course they can. I have made a number of changes, but they've all been done budget-minded. Up front, I didn't need to, but I went ahead and replaced the front wheel, because Amazon, at times, if you're willing to spend the time to look and browse, you will find Amazon putting returns or, like, say, open packages on sale, and I mean big sales. This is one of the Bucklos BM 1480 Boost wheel sets. This is only the front. The rear is not the same, but these are about $120, $130 wheels normally on Amazon, and this one was available for $50 with free shipping because it was a open package return, not used, but it was a return. And then I actually ended up only having to pay $30 in the end because I got it, and when it showed up, the box had been punched in and the hub end cap on this side got damaged. And they asked me actually what I wanted to do. I contacted Amazon customer service when I noticed it. They said, "What would you like us to do?" And I said, "Well, the end caps are damaged and Bucklo sells them, but they're $20. And they said, "Okay, we will refund you the price of the end caps plus tax and we'll credit it right back to you." And they did. I ended up being able to just simply file the cap a little bit, and it was able to work. It probably lost, a millimeter of material, but it's not enough that is a worry. If it shows any kind of issue, I can always slip a small washer in there. Haven't worried about it. It's working fine. It's been running fine. No issues on the fork. Which, I am still running the stock tire, but of course that's obviously not the stock fork. Stock fork did not have a through axle. But side note, I will eventually do a review on these wheels because I have another set on my Ozark Trail Slalom, and they're pretty good wheels. I know some people kind of scoff at Bucklos, but I'm learning not to. But the fork that is holding this wheel in place is a D&M RC34 with 140 millimeters of travel, and of course this is in a 27.5 set. And it is air adjustable with lockout, and there is rebound down below here. Okay, yeah, this side, and the rebound is underneath of this cap, and I absolutely love this. This is just a protective cap. Here's your adjustment, and if you're rude enough, you know why that is such a nice touch. And the cap's aluminum, nice threads. Keeps gunk out of the adjustment, and it keeps the adjustment from being knocked out of place. And this 100%. I've had D&M rear shocks and I've always had very good results with them. This thing is proving me to become a fan of D&M forks. Let me have a year on it with some serious riding, because this is going to be kind of like my urban fun bike. I need to go downtown and when they're not having festivals and events and stuff, and I'm going to have some fun. And I will take an action camera and maybe get my wife to tag along to do some video footage of that to put on the channel. But moving on back, you can see new cables and things. And I threw on some of the Bucklos camo pedals. Those are the ones that I had put on my project ledge, and now they're here on this. I think it just fits the look better. But I ended up replacing that Pro Rush rear derailleur, which turns out I didn't even get to use it. I don't know what to expect out of these. I mean, it's a very low-end derailleur, but it, at first glance, looks decently beefy, well-designed. But the fact that the mounting bolt bent without the hanger bending it's suspect. That doesn't bode well for the rest of the construction. But I put a tried and true SRAM X5 with a SRAM X5 8-speed shifter. So this is not a 1x7, it's a 1x8. And I did that because it's something I had on the shelf already. I already had the 8-speed shifter, I already had the derailleur, and I love SRAM X series derailleurs. These, when they made them from about 2007 to about 2019, roughly. They're simple, durable. They take a monster of a beating before having anything. You literally have to crash straight into a rock and have this be the impact point. And I like that. No, it doesn't have a clutch, but I have rode since 1999. I've went a long time without clutches. I'm not saying that they don't provide a benefit, because they do. They absolutely do. But the benefits, a little less so when you're just doing urban riding. And that's the main thing of this. Some jump trails and some urban rides. And to pair up with that X5, I just slapped on a Bucklos 8-speed derailleur in 11 to 34. I know people are going to say that's really high gearing, but 11 to 34 has basically been what I've always rode. So I'm very used to it. And you can see in behind there a Bucklos hydraulic brake set, which I actually already had. I bought it last year. It was a spare one because my Hyper Explorer hardtail, the set on it turned out to be so good that I was, for the price, when they had it on sale, I bought these. The whole set was like $45, which works out to be $22.50 per brake. That's unbeatable. And I just literally snaked it along, so I didn't even have to cut and reduce the hose. I just snaked it along what's supposed to be for the dropper post routing here, and then jumped up and over to the brake line. And the reason I did that is because I used this Originate. It's called Originate Ultimate Dropper. I had it on the shelf, threw it on, and it has a barrel adjuster in here, and it worked to line up right underneath the top tube just perfectly and come out. So I ended up using that. I can show here, right underneath, with some Jaguar white and silver braided cable that I already had. You can see that here both on the derailleur and on the dropper post cable, and that ended up working out quite well. And I kept the insanely heavy Mongoose bars for now, because why not? I mean, these are the ones that I kind of scolded the ledge for having, because these are steel, and I had this non-branded stem. For some reason, I don't remember which bike this came off of. I don't know if it was originally the one that was on the Ardor. For some reason I didn't think so, but I haven't decided if I'm keeping the stem or not. I probably won't. I probably will do a bar and stem change, and that's why the stack of spacers like this. Because of course, to mount the D&M, I haven't cut the steer tube down much. I think I cut like an inch off, but it did, of course, take a Bucklos 44 to 56 headset. That, if you know that, that's just the sizing of the top is the 44, the bottom is the 56. You need to know that when you go to swap headsets. And then I slapped on a Mongoose saddle that originally came off of my Tiax Elite years ago that I had swapped out for a WTB Pure V. So that's the changes made, and I have been riding it, and it has been a fun bike. I haven't changed out the cranks. I was basically going to run them until they give me trouble and then replace them. And same thing with the bar and stem. So pretty much I will eventually put a WTB saddle on, and I'm probably going to go with some Suntour Xeron cranks. They make those in a pretty beefy design that are under $50. So I'll probably throw those on there. And I want to stick with something I can count on, because this is going to see some stairs, landing dock drops, gaps, and quite a bit of jumps. This is going to be kind of my bike to beat up a bit. But I hope you enjoyed this little update on what I'm calling my Project Cheap Thrills. I know that sounds a bit like, probably like Kev Central, but this is my Ardor that I'm calling Cheap Thrills. Pretty much getting to be about where it's at. And if you're wondering, yeah, that dropper is way up there, but it's a multi-position major drop. It drops way down. So we'll take a look and cut back to slammed, which is where I run it at for anything stunt-wise. But hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.